Previous to hired, I was a high school dropout. More or less, I dropped out when I was 13. It was 2020. I recently got out of house arrest around that spring, and they're like, "Hey, get your GED." I was bouncing around from job to job. I didn't like the job, moved on, living how I did. I lived with my mom, but I had to take care of myself. So I had to do what it took to survive, whether it was trying to stay out of criminal activity or trying to find what I'm gonna eat the next day. After I finally found the motivation to get my GED, hired gave me these opportunities and said, look, you don't have to go to college, but if you do, you can go 1 year. They make this much money, you can get a trade. Hired made it easy to break down the FAFSA. They show me supports of what I can do if I can't afford it, how I'm gonna make a living, while I'm in school, because I was a full-time student, which was really overwhelming. I was going through a tough time in November, and that's actually how the housing came up, because I didn't have a home. I was struggling with finding a home. And I'm like, Dom, what's credit? And she's like, I don't know, let's ask Peng. And Peng's more of a credit advisor, financial supporter.
Financial coach.
And he taught me, he broke it down for me, what's needed for credit, what are the do's and don'ts of credit. So they offered me that, and then I'm like, all right, I'm having good credit now, let me try to buy a home. And that's when she connected me with Susie, who's a housing advisor. Hired really gave me an opportunity to look into my adult life without going through it alone. And I think most importantly, Hired can help me just by being there. It's what makes Dom so great at her job. She doesn't look at it as a 9 to 5, she genuinely cares. I am currently in the field working and going to school for HVAC. I work for Marsh Heating and Air, amazing company. They're taking me in, they're investing so much in me, they have amazing plans for me. The owner loves my attitude, so apart from working, of course, I'm still finishing up my school. I have another year left. So it's a half school, half work, and it's a lot to balance, but I still have a life. I'm first generation. My father, came to this land. He gave up his whole life for me to have a better life, and that's actually one of my main motivators of why I went to college. How I viewed it in my heart and my perspective. If I didn't go to college, my father came here for nothing, and I just couldn't do that to my father. I couldn't have him pass away without a purpose. If I hadn't connected with Hired, my life would be as it was before, nothing. I probably would have just been working a job I didn't want to work, doing something I didn't want to do. They didn't hand anything to me. They just handed me the tools I needed to build this for myself. Without Hired, I wouldn't be doing anything. It's as simple as that.